Welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting and controversial pieces of futuristic military technology currently in development: the DragonFire laser-directed energy weapon. This project, a collaboration between MBDA, Leonardo, QinetiQ, and the United Kingdom's Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, is shaping up to be one of the most powerful game changers in naval and land-based defence systems. The DragonFire is not science fiction. It's not a video game upgrade. It is very real and very close to entering service. And it represents a major shift in how future battles might be fought, both at sea and on land. Instead of firing missiles that cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars per shot, DragonFire promises to deliver incredible firepower with laser precision at the cost of just a few dollars per discharge. To understand what makes this weapon so remarkable, let's start by breaking down its performance. At its core, DragonFire is a high-energy laser system capable of directing a focused beam of light at a target, heating it at extraordinary speed until it burns through. We're talking about a system that can melt through steel in seconds, blind sensors, fry drones, and disable incoming missiles without a single explosion or traditional projectile being launched. During UK military trials, DragonFire successfully shot down drones and mortar rounds, hitting targets at distances of several kilometers with pinpoint accuracy. The weapon operates at the speed of light, which means that unlike a missile or a bullet, there is no flight time, no delay, and virtually no way for a target to evade once it's locked on. One of the most important points about DragonFire is its accuracy. The system is designed with advanced targeting optics and beam director technology that allow it to focus energy on a target with extreme precision. Unlike a shotgun blast of shrapnel or an area effect missile, the laser concentrates energy into a pinpoint strike. This means less collateral damage, higher probability of kill against small or fast-moving targets, and the ability to engage even swarming drones with little wasted energy. Tests have demonstrated that the laser can hold its beam steady on a target the size of a coin, even when mounted on a moving platform like a naval ship in rough seas. That level of stability is absolutely vital for future warfare, because modern threats are no longer just large aircraft or enemy ships. They include tiny drones, loitering munitions, and fast incoming projectiles that are extremely hard to hit with conventional systems. Performance is not only about accuracy, it's also about firepower and sustainability. Traditional missile defense systems like the Sea Viper or Patriot rely on firing expensive interceptors that cost millions per launch. A single engagement can deplete a warship's arsenal quickly, leaving it vulnerable. DragonFire, by comparison, runs on electricity. As long as the ship or base has power, it has ammunition. The cost per shot has been estimated at less than $10, and that's a massive difference. Imagine an enemy swarm of 100 drones. With conventional defenses, intercepting them could cost hundreds of millions of dollars. With DragonFire, the cost is reduced to just hundreds, all while maintaining a nearly unlimited magazine as long as power is available. That is a revolution in both strategy and economics. Now let's talk about the challenges. Directed energy weapons like DragonFire do not come without limitations. Weather plays a role. Fog, heavy rain, or dust in the atmosphere can reduce the effectiveness of the laser. scattering or absorbing the beam before it reaches the target. This means that DragonFire might not always be a perfect solution in every climate or every combat environment. The weapon also requires a stable and powerful energy supply. On a ship, that means large power generators, and on land, that means carefully designed energy systems to prevent overheating or power fluctuations. There's also the issue of sustained fire. Lasers generate immense heat, and cooling systems are essential to keep the weapon running without damaging itself. These are not insurmountable problems, but they are engineering challenges that are being worked on as the system moves closer to operational deployment. So, what about pricing? This is where things get complicated. Officially, the UK Ministry of Defence has invested around £100 million in the DragonFire project. That figure covers development, testing, and initial prototyping. The weapon itself, once in production, is expected to cost in the tens of millions per unit, depending on the platform and configuration. However, the key factor isn't the purchase price. It's the cost per use. As I mentioned earlier, the cost per laser shot is less than $10, essentially just the price of the electricity consumed. Compare that to the cost of firing a missile interceptor, which can run from $500,000 to several $1 million. And you can see why militaries are excited. DragonFire is a system where the upfront cost is high, but the long-term savings are enormous. Another financial aspect is scalability. Once DragonFire is fully proven and enters mass production, the price per unit will decrease significantly. That means more ships, more bases, and more platforms could be equipped with this technology, further lowering reliance on traditional missile stocks. For a country like the UK, with limited resources compared to giants like the United States or China, this kind of cost-effective, high-tech solution is a smart investment. It allows a smaller navy or air defense network to punch far above its weight. But pricing isn't just about the United Kingdom. The export potential of DragonFire is massive. Allies across NATO are watching closely. If DragonFire performs as expected, countries with smaller defense budgets may see it as an ideal alternative to endlessly buying expensive missile systems. Imagine navies in Europe, Asia, and even the Middle East outfitting their ships with directed energy weapons instead of stocking up on costly interceptors. That could reshape the defense industry's financial balance. Instead of weapons companies making billions selling missiles by the hundreds, they may find themselves selling fewer systems, but more laser platforms and power modules. For MBDA and its partners, this is both a risk and an opportunity. Now let's consider performance in the real battlefield context. DragonFire has already proven it can shoot down drones and artillery shells in controlled trials. The next step is to integrate it into real combat platforms, like the Royal Navy's Type 26 and Type 31 frigates, or land-based air defense systems. Imagine a fleet of British warships patrolling contested waters, not relying solely on missile silos, but carrying essentially unlimited defensive ammunition in the form of directed energy. That changes how adversaries plan attacks. Swarm tactics, which are increasingly popular with drones, could be rendered useless if a ship can pick off drones continuously, one after another, with no reload required. There's also the deterrence factor. A weapon like DragonFire is not just about shooting down threats, it's about psychological impact. Imagine being a drone operator or pilot who knows that the moment you enter the weapon's engagement zone, you will be instantly targeted by a laser moving at the speed of light. There's no dodging, no hiding, no outrunning it. That kind of fear factor adds a powerful layer of deterrence. It tells adversaries that traditional tactics won't work, and that could prevent conflicts from escalating in the first place. In terms of future performance upgrades, we can expect DragonFire's power to increase as energy generation technology improves. Right now, the system is operating at around 50 kilowatts, with the potential to scale to 100 or even 200 kilowatts in the coming decade. Higher power means longer range, faster kills, and the ability to target larger threats, potentially even hypersonic missiles. That is the holy grail for directed energy weapons, being able to neutralize hypersonic projectiles that currently pose one of the most dangerous threats to global security. As for pricing in the future, early adoption will be expensive, but as mentioned earlier, economies of scale will drive costs down. It's likely that within the next 10 to 15 years, we will see multiple countries fielding their own versions of laser-directed energy systems, and DragonFire may be one of the leading models exported worldwide. For the UK, this not only secures a technological edge, but also positions it as a key player in the defense export market. Some analysts argue that directed energy weapons like DragonFire could even disrupt the entire global arms trade. If lasers become the dominant form of defense, the missile industry, currently worth hundreds of billions of dollars annually, could face serious disruption. That's why major defense companies like Lockheed Martin in the United States and Rafael in Israel are also developing their own laser systems. The competition is heating up, and DragonFire is at the forefront in Europe. So where does this leave us in terms of a review? DragonFire is not just another weapon. It's a paradigm shift. Its performance in tests has shown extreme accuracy, rapid engagement speed, and near unlimited ammunition potential. Its cost-effectiveness per shot is almost unbelievable compared to traditional missile defense. Yes, there are limitations related to weather and power supply, but those are engineering problems that will continue to be solved as technology progresses. In terms of pricing, the system is expensive upfront, but promises huge savings over its lifespan. It's an investment in the future, not just a purchase for the present. For the UK military, it means staying relevant in a world where drone swarms, hypersonic missiles, and asymmetric warfare are increasingly common. For the rest of the world, it represents a glimpse into the next generation of warfare. When you look at DragonFire as a whole, you're not just looking at a weapon. You're looking at a symbol of the future battlefield. It's about precision, efficiency, and control. Instead of saturating the skies with expensive interceptors, militaries will soon be able to defend themselves with beams of light, invisible, silent, and deadly accurate. That's not just performance, that's evolution. And so, when we ask if DragonFire is worth it, the answer depends on how you see the future of warfare. If you believe that conflicts will continue to escalate with drone swarms, fast projectiles, and electronic warfare, then yes, DragonFire is not just worth it, it's essential. If you think that traditional missiles will always dominate, then you may underestimate how disruptive this technology will be. But history has shown that once a new weapon arrives, that fundamentally changes the economics and performance of combat, it rarely disappears. Gunpowder replaced swords, missiles replaced cannons, and now lasers may replace missiles. The DragonFire laser-directed energy weapon is still in its early days, but everything we've seen so far points to a weapon that will define the next era of combat. It is futuristic, it is realistic, and it is almost ready. For militaries, it represents power, protection, and cost savings. For defense companies, it represents opportunity and disruption. And for us as observers, it represents the fascinating and sometimes terrifying future of war, where beams of light decide the outcome of battles. So, when the DragonFire officially enters service later this decade, it will not just be another weapon on the battlefield. It will be a signal that the age of lasers has truly begun.